Hello my crochet friends, it's Yobi here today and welcome to another video of our crochet tips and tricks series. In this video I'm sharing with you how to join a round with a slip stitch. This technique is quite useful when you are working several rounds with the same color. In this video I'm going to show you two different ways, one when the round is formed by single crochet and the second one when the round is formed by double crochet. Before starting with this tutorial, I would like to tell you that if you like the video, don't forget to give thumbs up. First, I'm going to show you how to join a round of single crochet. Here I have a round formed by a magic ring and 6 single crochet. If you are a beginner, I have a separate video where I explain two different methods how to make the magic ring and another video how to make the single crochet. I will leave you all the information in the info box down below. So now we see here that we have 6 single crochet. We can count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And we are going to join the last stitch with the first one. Since this round is formed by single crochet, the turning chain does not count as a stitch. So we are going to make the slip stitch on top of the first single crochet. This one here is the first single crochet. So in this position I'm going to introduce my hook through the stitch, okay, and I verify that I'm taking the whole stitch, so both parts of the V. As you can see here, there are 2 strings. These 2 strings form the stitch. So, and in this position I'm going to yarn over, come out through the gap, and I'm going to pull this loop through the second one. Okay, now in this position I have to differentiate which is my slip stitch. For doing that, I'm going to pull my hook in this direction and in order that the stitch change. Have you seen this loop here? It got smaller when I started to pull. So if I continue pulling a bit more, it gets even smaller. So why do we do that? Because we should work everything on top of the previous round. We should not work on top of the slip stitch. So here this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth stitch. Here we don't work. Now for the second round, let's assume that this is going to be a round of single crochet. Okay, and then for that we are going to make 1 chain, that this is the turning chain, and I'm going to make 2 single crochet on each stitch of this round. Remember that since we are working with single crochet, this turning chain is not counted as a stitch. So here I'm going to work 2 single crochet on the first stitch. Okay, check that you are taking the whole stitch, so both parts of the V, both parts of the string that form this V shape, and I'm going to make 2 single crochet there. I will continue working 2 single crochet on each stitch and meet you at the end to show you how to join the second round with a slip stitch. So here I have already worked the last 2 single crochet in the last stitch and I'm going to close this round. For that, you remember the turning chain is not counting as a stitch, so we have to make the slip stitch on top of the first single crochet. To find out which is this one, we are going to find this V here, and this V here represents the first single crochet. So if we look on top of this, we are going to find this one, and this is the head of this stitch. So this represents the first single crochet, and this is the place where I'm going to introduce my hook. This one that you can see here before, this corresponds to the turning chain. So now for closing the circle, you can see here in this position you can differentiate better. So here, that one, this is the turning chain, and this one, this is the V that is on top of this one, and this corresponds to the first stitch. So here I'm going to introduce my hook. Okay, single crochet is quite tight way of working, so sometimes in the first stitches it's not so easy to introduce, and I always have to check to take both parts of the V. Okay, so I'm just working the slip stitch, and now to differentiate the slip stitch from the other stitches, what I do is to pull my hook in the opposite direction, so that, as you can see here, this loop gets smaller. Okay, and now you can count that you have 12 stitches. Each of these V represents one stitch. So here on top we have the first one, that is where we have made our slip stitch. This is the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Here I have 2 circles of single crochet. The one on the left hand side is the one that we have worked on this tutorial, where we join each round with a slip stitch, and this one has been worked using the technique of standing single crochet. I have a separate video where I explain this technique, and I will leave you the link down below. If you notice, in this circle it's slightly noticeable the beginning of each round. Here you can notice that this stitch is a little bit different with respect to the other stitches. Here you cannot notice the beginning of the round. All stitches seems to be the same. Please consider that here you will have less threads to wave off at the end, and here you are going to have more threads because each round is worked independently. You have to decide the technique that you are going to use when making circles. The technique of standing single crochet is very recommendable when you have to change colors, because it gives you a very clean and neat look. Now I'm going to show you the second method. In this case, I'm going to show you how to join the circle of double crochet with a slip stitch. Here I have a magic ring, and there I have worked 3 chains for the turning chain plus 11 double crochet. Remember that the turning chain in this case counts as 1 stitch. So here we have in total 12 double crochet. What I'm going to do now is to join the last stitch with the last chain of the turning chain. If you need some additional information regarding magic ring, I have a separate video where I show 2 different methods how to make a magic ring. And also there is another video with everything related to double crochet. Okay, now if we observe the circle, here we can notice the double crochet, and here this is the turning chain. If we observe the double crochet and we turn a little bit our work, we are going to see these 2 strings that form a V shape. So this V corresponds to the double crochet. I'm going to make the slip stitch here in the last chain of the turning chain. Okay, as you can see here, that's a better position. So we are going to work here. What we should take into account is that when we introduce the hook, we have to introduce the hook through the front and the back loop of the chain. What this means, I will try to explain this better. So here, if we observe, this one corresponds to the front loop. It's just this string. And if we turn our work a little bit like that, we are going to see this little bump in the back part that is the back loop of this chain. So what we are going to do is to introduce the hook, and we are going to take both, as you see here, the front loop and the back loop. Okay, this is the position how I'm going to introduce my hook to work the slip stitch. Now in this position, I'm just introduce the hook here, and I should check that I'm taking both. The front loop is here and the back loop, you can see it here. And in this position, I'm going to yarn over, come out through this gap, okay, and here I'm going to pull the second loop through the first one, like so, and now my slip stitch is ready. What I'm going to do now is to mark somehow or to distinguish the slip stitch from the other stitches, and for that I just pull my hook like this, and you notice how this loop got very small. So this loop corresponds to the slip stitch. To continue working the second round, we have to take into account that this one, so the last chain of the turning chain, corresponds to the first stitch, and this is the second, third, fourth, and fifth, and so on. So let's assume that I will continue with the second round of double crochet, and I'm going to work 2 double crochet on each stitch. Okay, so since it is a double crochet, we are going to begin with a turning chain, 3 chains. These are assumed that they are worked here in the first stitch, the top of the turning chain of the previous round, and there I'm also going to work another double crochet. So I introduce my hook through the same gap, then I just do the double crochet. These two correspond to the first stitch. Now for the next one we are going to do on top of this double crochet. So here we are going to take this V shape or these 2 strings. So here I'm going to work again 2 double crochet, and I'm going to take both parts of the string, both parts of the V, as you can see here. Okay, and I'm going to work there 2 double crochet as well. Just I'm following the pattern of a standard circle. For the next one, I go to the next stitch and work there again 2 double crochet more. And I continue working in the same way. Okay? Here I'm at the end of the second round, and I'm going to join this round with a slip stitch. So first I identify the double crochet is here, and this is the turning chain. So this V here corresponds to the double crochet. So this one is the last chain of the turning chain. So I'm going to introduce my hook here. Okay, and I should not forget to take both the front and the back end of the loop, like so. Okay, you can check it here on the back side that I'm also taking the back loop of the chain. And I yarn over, come out through the gap, and pull the second loop through the first one. Okay? So, and now I can continue working the third round. Here you can see two circles. The one on the left hand side is the one that we have joined each round with a slip stitch. Okay? And we have begun each round with a turning chain of 3 chains. As you can see here, you can notice the turning chain here, here, and here as well. Okay? Here on the right hand side I have another circle where I have replaced the turning chain with one standing stitch. So here the beginning of each round has been made with a standing double crochet. I have a separate video where I show you how to make the standing double crochet, and this is the perfect technique when you have to change colors. If you compare this and this, just the turning chain seems to be a bit visible. So if you don't like this turning chain, you can use this way of making circles. But please take into account that following this technique, you will have more threads to wave off at the end of your work. If you follow this technique, you will not have so many threads at the end. So I leave you both options and choose the one that you like best or the one that is more convenient for you. And that's all what I have for you, my friends. If you have any question or you want to tell me something, please leave me a comment down below. I thank you a lot for being here and watching the video. I leave you a big hug. Don't forget to give thumbs up to the video and see you next time. Bye!